Is ESPN too liberal? This has been a conversation that's come up ever since the Sporting News, and it wasn't just the Sporting News, there's a few other outlets that published a survey that polled Republicans or people who are affiliated as registered Republicans, registered Democrats, and people who consider themselves moderate. I don't know where the moderate are anymore, but my God, they are needed. Let's start with the actual news in itself. Hank Williams Jr. was rehired by ESPN after 5 years of him not working for ESPN. He's a guy most famously known on ESPN and people who watch Monday Night Football for doing his rowdy group of guys, country music tone to the, like, it's Monday Night Football song, right? I could have watched the song right beforehand. I'm not the biggest fan of country music, don't hold it against me. But it also was, for a long time, a staple to Monday Night Football. Like I think Carrie Underwood does the Sunday Night Football one, am I right?
Yeah. The NBC one?
Big fan of Carrie Underwood, so that's totally different. You know. You a fan of Carrie Underwood?
I love that song. It makes me just want. I love the song.
I love it. I listen to it at the gym.
No, but I love her. What is the song that I dug my key into the side of his pretty.
Jacory, you gonna sing with him this time? No, not this time. Only 1,000 miles. That's the only one you'll sing with.
Let the sea.
I took a load, slug at both headlines. I scratched my name in all 4 times. Maybe next time you'll think before he cheats. How's that for a dude?
I'm gonna save a little trouble for the next girl.
Cause next time that he cheats, you know it won't be.
Someone to send me this song. This is great.
What a song, man! It's great.
Who needs Carrie Underwood? This Sunday Night Football with Francis and Jacory.
What can our nickname be?
You have
Fransori.
Fransori.
Sound Italian.
That does sound a little bit Italian.
Jacoris. Jacoris. One of those things you say and it just comes Jacoris.
Where's the Oris come from?
Francis.
Francis.
Jacor.
Is.
And it's like chorus, like the chorus of a song.
It's not bad. But why is this a big deal to certain crowds? Well, for one, Hank Williams went on Fox and Friends in 2011, and he compared a meeting with Barack Obama and John Boehner as a meeting of, it would be the same as Hitler meeting with Netanyahu. And of course that take was criticized from one side and loved by another side. And I don't agree with the take, but at the same time, there's many issues why ESPN is hemorrhaging subscribers, as people call them. I think very, very little of it actually has to do with them having a liberal-leaning bias. And yes, they do have a liberal-leaning bias. I'm a liberal, I don't care that they do, but they do have a bias. And I'm not saying that at any point should ESPN bring on, like CNN and MSNBC do, just like staged up conservatives to fight with like Shannon, or that's Fox Sports, with Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. Don't go that route. The point being though is, here's one chart as to why ESPN has started to hemorrhaging subscribers, and part of the reason they ended up firing a bunch of people. They owe $22.94 billion over the next 8 years.
Wow.
That is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money, and that has caused a ton of changes within Bristol, Connecticut, and of course their subsidiaries and affiliates all across the country. The quote I have for you, which comes from Sporting News, I think once again just kind of shows that either the executives know that the building is on fire and they're kind of just sitting there saying, this is fine.
Yeah.
Or they're just doing the PR move of being like, no, as a team here, we're not gonna shed any light onto why we're actually losing subscribers and viewers. But you can do the math yourself. So here's the Sporting News quote. For the first quarter of 2017, ending March 26th, ESPN was a top-rated full-time cable news network. That goes for any cable news program for total day and prime time among the advertising-friendly 18 to 34, 18 to 49. Pretty much anybody that's not in the get off my lawn age group. 55 and over.
Yeah, it's very much so.
But the point being, thanks to the allure of live sports, ESPN's strength among the key young male demographic groups has been its strong suit since our 1979 launch. Sure, that's true, but it's also kind of throwing an argument at a dartboard, but you missed the dartboard completely, because it's not that they're too liberal. I understand that turns off a lot of people, but what the Hank Williams Jr. hiring has to do with all of this is it shows that ESPN thinks that their perception is that they are too liberal, and because of that, they went out and rehired a known conservative for his political views to come back on and do Monday Night Football after he was let go 5 years ago. So it just shows that they are concerned about their public image of being too liberal, right?
Yeah.
But why don't they just say, we have a slightly liberal leaning bias? I think it's slightly is a fair word. I don't think they're like overtly MSNBC.
People are concerned that ESPN is becoming too left leaning. And when you look at some of the articles that is coming forth using conservative critics, is that they say that they're becoming more left leaning because they covered the anthem protest from Colin Kaepernick and provided some sort of insight into some that supported him. But then they also had Trent Dilfer at one point, who I know doesn't work for them anymore, but was very vocal being against it. So there was a contrast in opinion. And then other things like honoring Caitlyn Jenner and firing Kurt Schilling and featuring gay Rams pick Michael Sam. Regardless of what you think, whether that's not playing into conservative ideal, they honored Caitlyn Jenner because it was a sports person. So you not want them to cover that because it doesn't fit into a conservative narrative. Michael Sam being gay is regardless of the fact that you want him on the show to discuss he's been in the league, his footballing policies. Kurt Schilling, as we know, is very politically vocal about his opinion. He made some controversial comments as well, where he was trying to sympathize with comments around Trump's creepy comments towards young girls. So maybe they just didn't want that associated it to sports, but I do get where some people think that they may be too left-leaning. But in hiring Hank Williams Jr., I don't think that's hiring a conservative voice. I think that's trying to play on the other end, that they think that they've been so extremely left. You know what? We're going to bring in someone who's so extremely right to kind of balance it out. You could go forth and you could hire someone who's fit for the job, but maybe has conservative points of view. Hank Williams Jr. isn't just someone that has politically said some crazy things, such as comparing Barack Obama to Adolf Hitler. He's went on some homophobic rants. If you look at the history of him, he's had several controversial things to say that doesn't play into the idea of inclusivity, which sports is supposed to put forth. So I think that what they're trying to do is right. I think that they're admitting that they think that they're too left. So rather than just trying to, I don't know, if you're gonna be, in this day and age, it's impossible to get away from politics. So you either embrace that you have a political point of view and put it forward, or you maybe hire someone that have different opinions, but you don't need to go so far right in extreme points of view that you're hiring a guy who's clearly homophobic. Because you have gay viewers of the NFL, you have people also that are gonna take offense to that, especially, last point.
When it comes down to it, like, why do we watch ESPN? And if anybody's actual answer is, man, I love First Take, I don't know if you're actually a sports fan. And I'm not saying that my show here and Francis here and what we do is offering anything more than First Take is. But my point being is we watch ESPN because they have live sports broadcasts. And that is why we watch. We watch SportsCenter because they have highlights. We watch SportsCenter. We used to watch SportsCenter because of the OGs there that were so great and made it more of an appointment viewing, because you liked hosts like Stuart Scott, and you liked hosts like Dan Patrick, and you liked hosts, well, Scott Van Pelt's still there, Rose, like the At Midnight show, and all the guys. Kenny Mayne, when Keith Olbermann was talking about sports, he did SportsCenter when he was there. Like, that's what we started to watch. What happened is similar to some mainstream news where it's 24-hour news. It's just the regurgitated same exact story 24 hours a day. I don't think ESPN has a ridiculous narrative. I just think that they have acknowledged now by hiring Hank Williams that they are perceived by a group as being too liberal, and they're trying to do this to balance it out, and it's dumb because it's not that you have to go hire Hank Williams Jr. It's that I've never heard anybody say, I'm not watching Monday Night Football because I don't like the intro song.
Yeah.
Comment below, like, favorite, and subscribe.